Welcome back, everybody. It's episode 2 of Tisula Noatri. It's a special episode because, well, we didn't get cancelled because, we made it past the pilot episode. There's always something to celebrate. I think the man we can thank for that is Farai.
Are we going to tell them about the alternate beginning to this episode?
We're not going to tell them to the ultimate beginning. We're going to let them ride with it as it goes.
No, guys, you don't have to thank me. I don't know what Valentine is talking about.
Right, Mr. Charisma carrying us on his back. Right, so episode 2, still the same thing. We're just going to be, having a chat about things that, we're interested in, keep us ticking, so you guys get a closer picture of who the people are behind your social media, your, articles and the videos. So like last week, I'm going to let the team introduce themselves because I'm not going to.
It's too tired, ain't it? All right, I'm Ed. If y'all don't know, I'm just the guy that does media stuff at Techzim. So you'll find out if you go on Techzim. I don't know about you, Shami. What do you do?
Okay, I'm Shami. As Ed said, I do the Techzim social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook on occasion. Probably should do more. But yeah, that's me.
I'll go third since Farai doesn't want to go anywhere near second. I'm Valentine, write articles, and that's about it actually.
Similar to Valentine, writing articles, podcasting now, I guess, and yeah, that's about it.
All right, so last week we put Shami on the spot since she had to go first, and I don't think that's fair. It'll be unfair on me to pick on her again for a second week in a row, and since it's our special we didn't get cancelled episode, I want to put the main man himself, who had an introduction but needs no further introduction. Ed, what's on your mind, man?
Oh, flip. I'm not prepared. Okay.
What do you not prepared?
Well, I mean, you just threw it at me. So I guess when someone throws stuff at me, I'll just throw it back. I mean, it's just so crazy that we managed to get a second episode. I appreciate all you guys, but it's also interesting that in these podcasts we're giving people a deep dive into the people behind Techzim. But do we, the people behind Techzim, know each other as much? That's always an interesting one that I was thinking of all day. I was like, what questions am I going to ask these guys? And I got a couple, but I think I'll start with the one that I feel is the most interesting one. So imagine if your life was a book, right? And you were to choose which parts of your life were, okay, let's start off with were the best chapters. Like what went down in your life that you were like, oh man, if I was a book, this chapter would be the highlight. I would put this chapter as a pilot for the whole book because it's dope. What do you think?
That's a heavy question, bro. Like,
it's extreme.
That went sideways quick, bro.
I mean, you decided to start with me, so I just thought, let's start with that.
What your chapter is whilst we feel around this, around the topic.
Oh, okay. Well, that's tricky. That's tricky for me because of generally how I operate. But if I were to pick one chapter, I would say 2016. Took a family trip to Victoria Falls, and I did everything that I would have in my normal mind never done. So first one is I can't swim. But I decided to go on a hike, and I didn't know that this hike involved swimming at the end. So swimming was not the problem. The problem was where we were swimming. We were swimming in the Zambezi River. So yeah, that was amazing. But all the points leading to us jumping into the river, that was scary. I don't want to lie. That was really scary. yes, of course, I drank some river water because I told Charles I can't swim, but I came out alive, so that's a win. But yeah,
So
I
you
don't know if I'm
swam.
brave
What
enough.
happened? What?
Well, yeah, I swam. I mean, I had floats on. Okay, so that's like part of
Okay,
the story.
okay, okay.
So how it happened was it was a bit of a canoe trip. So we hiked down into the gorge, jumped on the canoes. We canoed our way to like the I don't know what they call it, but the foot of the falls, where the falls actually land. Because it was like it was in December, so like the falls will be at its lowest point, so it won't be that violent. It'll be calm, it'll be chill. So we got really close to the base of the falls, and then there were some rock piles there. These guys we went with, our tour guides, were complete lunatics, so they said let's jump off the cliff. Um, Peer pressure made me do it, so I jumped, and it was fun. But it wasn't that fun because I slipped from the cliff and fell into the river. I didn't actually jump. And like I said, I can't swim. So
It's kind of the worst way to
yeah,
go in, isn't it? Yo.
I
that
guess
was the
now,
worst
Ed,
way to go in.
I guess now, Ed, when someone says if your friends jump off a cliff, will you do it too? You probably say yes.
I mean, I have experience now, so I guess we can do that. But yeah, that was for me. That was the highlight. I mean, might even just be generous and post one of the live streams I did. But yeah, it was a fun one.
Okay. So who's gonna go next, or should I volunteer myself?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can do it.
Be our guest.
You two are afraid of this question. Come on, guys.
No.
We're all friends here. You're safe.
Yeah,
It's a safe space.
I'll go.
Shami, thank you. Because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shami. Ooh.
Yeah, well, no, I'll go because I can't answer the question. That's like so. No, I'm gonna go philosophical right now. You can't pick one, like literally like one moment. That is hectic. Like I can't. Literally, my life is a highlight. Like I can't really think of anything where I'm like, yeah, but this, right? No,
This
well, you
was
can, but it's so many. So it's kind of like, nah, like I can't go, okay, yeah, this one, because it's like so many things and then so many moments in that moment specifically. So I'm just gonna say in general for me, like life is a highlight, really, like all the time. It's just one of those things for me personally, like all the things I've done or all the places I've been, the people in my life are just a highlight, you know? Like I guess you can say some highlights are lighter. You know
So
what I
pick the
mean?
heavier highlight. Let's hear that one.
The heavier one.
Mm.
All right, swing it back around to me. You were gonna volunteer yourself. Oh.
Yeah, you're evading today, Shami. This is unlike you.
He's like 9.
All right, so I'll go next. Highlight of life. I think it's I think it's that transition into the 20s for me was where I felt from 19 to 20. I think that was college days where I felt that this is where you begin to live, responsibility and stuff begin to take over, and you really begin to find yourself. It's a really weird time. I don't think everybody marks the end of their teens in it the same way, because for some people it's just eight. I'm just getting a year older. But I think for me that transition was interesting because that's when it hit me that okay, fine, you've got things you need to do, things you need to accomplish. Um, yeah, and it was just the realizations made it a highlight because it's things I never thought of when I was younger. So that whole transition made me feel like, yeah, life is going to get harder and much harder because that's when the first time you pay your own bills, you have to watch what you eat, you have to know when to cook, all that kind of stuff. And beyond that, it's now building more complex relationships than the ones you built before. So it's strange that might seem a highlight, but realizations for me always stand out. there are events that have happened, but it's I was just there and we did that and this, but you know that period stands out. Like now I can go back and say, I wouldn't say a better person. I don't think I've changed much in the last X number of years, because I won't have always not like what I did in last podcast, but I wouldn't say that I've changed. But I think the learning process, if it hadn't happened that early, I would have regretted it had it happened later. So I'm kind of grateful that it happened then, not like, because I know some people it happened much later for them in their mid-20s, when you get out of college and then it hits you. Life is not gravy train. It's a jungle. Kill or be killed.
And your question has people in a therapy session, mate. Like literally, what is happening?
I think I'm pretty much in the same. I'm in the same camp as Shami in that. No, I don't know, man. It's something I'd really have to like think about. Like I can't think about a moment on the fly. Like I definitely know lowlights, but I wouldn't share those on the podcast. Nah.
But like I said, we're friends here. Like we're friends. You're safe, man.
I'm fine. I'll keep social distancing. What's the emotional version of social distancing?
Blue ticking is the emotional version of social distancing.
If I had to pick though, I think I would say just 2019 in general was a great year for me. Was an exciting year for me. I learned so much about myself as a person. So if I had to pick, I would generally say I think 2019 was a good time for me. I enjoyed so many things. I was, maybe if I do decide to get personal, I would say I was in a great relationship at the time. And just in terms of work, there was a good flow there. And so yeah, I think 2019 was a good year because I learned so much about myself personally. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough? Does that pass? Is it passable?
No, it's pretty cool. I think it's an honest answer without getting into the nitty gritty, of which I would like to hear, but since man's social distancing, it's all right.
Yeah.
Shami,
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Well,
let's hear it.
Okay, so since Fari went deep, like we have to go deep. So for me, listening, like the highlight, one of the major highlights for me, this is heavy, guys. Don't mock me, was
I'll try my best not to.
Man, I'm getting emotional. Wait, give me a sec. Okay. Was when Android beat iOS in the Techzim Podcast. Literally just a reminder in case anyone had forgotten. It meant a lot. So thank you.
It meant a lot to me as well.
Wow.
I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Wow. And I built up this whole, sitting there.
It's bigger than 2019 for me.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge.
Shami, do you know what you made me do? I sat up, like from the seat, like for the list, like, oh, okay, we're going to levels, yeah. And then you drop that at the climax.
Hey, I'm just saying.
All right. So we'll move on to the next person. Well, it's two people to pick from. Well, three technically. I'm not going next. Since I go second anyway. Make it happen, man. What's on your mind?
Yo, my mind. What's on my mind? So guys, we're gonna talk about. Does someone want to guess? Someone who's not Valentine, because I had told Valentine what was on my mind prior to us. Does anyone want to guess?
There's no way of guessing. Fari, you could be thinking about anything.
So what's on my mind is astrology and whether or not you guys believe in it. So maybe just for a bit of context, what's the way to put it? For myself, I won't go as far as saying I believe it, but I've been in a weird place. I've been reading a lot about astrology, my star sign, and also simultaneously reading a lot more of the Bible than I usually do. which I know is kind of strange because Bible says astrology bad, and then I'm doing both at the same time. But yeah,
Mhm.
I've been reading both, and I've just found a lot of fascinating things on both ends. At astrology, there's or rather in astrology, there's a lot I found that's kind of fascinating and sometimes very true about myself. And so I wanted to understand what's happening with you guys. What's your star signs? Do you believe in that stuff, or to you guys it's like it's a bunch of rubbish? That's what's on my mind.
So for me, it's so crazy because yesterday I was actually thinking about this and I was like, this would be such a dope topic because, like, whenever, obviously, now I spend so much time, so much more time actually on social media, and all I ever see is, oh, of course, so and so is like that because she's a Virgo or whatever, like, or
Yeah,
Sagittarius. Oh, that's so Sagittarius. And I'm like, no, like, no, for me personally. And I actually used to like read all of that. What are they called? The horoscopes? Is that what they're called?
yeah, exactly.
All of that stuff. And I did used to read and be like, oh, but like this is like long ago, like in high school. But now I just kind of feel like I don't think the whole like stars and the stars aligning and like a whole group of people just because they're born like in the same month
In a
can be
certain
exactly the
month.
same. I've met like
Yeah,
people born in the same month who are so different,
yeah,
and their lives turn out different. And if a horoscope is essentially for a whole group of you, but different things happen to each of those people, then essentially it is kind of just nonsense. I have
yeah,
noticed
yeah,
the funny thing though is that I have noticed that, for example, like I know my star sign, right? So I have noticed a lot of Capricorns are a certain way as well. So it's something that will stick in my head where I'll be like, okay, but it is weird
yeah.
that I can identify with each person. And that kind of, now it kind of confuses you, like it could throw you off. But
Yeah,
I'm firmly on the side that it's just false prophecy. It's all
it's crazy.
nonsense. Like, yeah,
So
because
maybe
there
so
are
maybe
people.
not
Mhm.
not to sound like an astro junkie, right? Not to sound like an
Yeah.
astro junkie. You're talking about like people being born in the same in the same month and then them being different. So I think what are they called? Uh, astrologers exactly. What they
Mhm.
say is what do they say? So I think the time you're born as well kind of influences. So let's say when's your birthday?
On the
If you
10th
don't
of
mind me
January.
asking.
Oh
10th
no,
of
I don't
January.
mind. Mm-hmm.
So you're 10 January, let's say you were born at 8 a.m. Someone born at like 8 p.m. kind of has some subtle differences. I think that's what they say, if I'm not mistaken. And if there's any astro junkies, or at least people who know more about this stuff than I do, get in the comments and air out whatever you want to air out and correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think that's where some of those subtle differences are. But like you said, there's also some things I've heard about at least my star sign, which is Scorpio, and then I see it in myself, and I'm like, what? Wow, this is kind of weird. But like you said, it's also one of those things where you're like, "Yeah, but ah, how do they predict this stuff? It's kind of hard to believe in.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
no.
I don't know.
yeah.
Valentine said he was gonna bring a stack of notes.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going to be the naysayer because I don't I don't believe in astrology because I don't believe that the star you're born under, you know, defines what your character is going to be. I think
Yeah.
it depends on a number of factors. I think the environment you grew up with, upbringing you had, just a lot of things
Yeah.
that come to you that affect you in some way will shape who you are. And it's I think star signs are a generalization. I think it's fun. I have no
Mm.
problem with it, because if you believe what you want to believe, whatever gives your life
Yeah,
purpose, all the better for that. But I think it's generalizations, and it's sometimes fun to look and then see the similarities that you have over a range of star signs, or just the one that, because I'm a Capricorn, was born in January, so some of the things kind of line up, but then there's some certain changes that are made, and all that kind of stuff, and that kind of I was like kind of irked me a bit. Actually, when I was a kid, we used to kind of religiously look at that. Well, not me, but my older sisters and brothers used to look at that star sign channel on DSTV way back in the day, and then used to go down describing what you're on. Yeah, so that for a time I thought that was kind of credible, but then growing up and then quote unquote reading more, you then begin to see it's a whole lot of not even reading more, but being exposed to more. Maybe realize there's a whole lot of things that amount to you as a person that don't know how that you don't know how will affect you. So sometimes it's projecting. We project who we are on those statements, or there's a point
in time you turn into that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm afraid of, because I was just like Capricorn. I'm not. I never fit that mold, or I don't think anybody can fit a specific mold, because we're all different in one way or another. And yeah, I think what they call it in medicine, phenotype, with the environment and stuff like that, and genetics as well is another thing that needs to be looked into, because you could be predisposed to a number of different things you're not aware of, and you could just be misreading that as something on a star sign. So me, it's a lot more complex.
Stars,
yeah, but it's difficult to align with the stars because they've been around a lot longer than we have. So again, it's one of those things that humans feel like we're special.
We are, aren't we?
We're not really special, man, because it's okay. This is gonna go deep into me.
I'll come there and fight you. I'm pretty special.
No, like legit, I don't think we're special as we'd like to think we are, because
compared to what? Maybe.
Well, compared to how grand everything looks, just looking through a telescope, for example. I got a chance a couple of years ago to look through a telescope, not a very fancy one, but looking at some planet. I don't know which planet we're looking over, and some stars, and just how massive it is. And they were on this little blue dot, and we think we're special. I'm like, nah, that ain't it. That's the thing. Is like stars have been around for billions of years. So for us to think that aligning with one can give us certain characteristics, again, this is just my naysayer side. I mean, it might have a different view.
I am a Taurus, and my element is Earth.
Another
so
one.
I don't know what y'all are saying.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I hope you don't believe in that stuff.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Ed. You're the man I've been waiting for.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. So just like everyone, I have jumped into horoscopes, but I jumped into horoscopes from an observer / curiosity point of view. I'm just generally a very curious person. So if something tickles my interest, I'm going to check it out. So I have checked out horoscopes extensively, and I've done mini studies with the people close to me, the people around me, just asking them, hey man, what's your star sign? Okay. And then I just look it up and I'm like, okay. Because I'm the type of person who invests time and effort into knowing and understanding the characteristics of people around me. So I'm pretty sure everyone in this podcast, I've jumped into your inbox and we've talked about random junk that's not work, just so that I get to understand that person a bit more. And yeah, fortunately, that's valuable data that kind of fed into the horoscope side of things, just in terms of looking at it. And I think Fatso mentioned it. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But that generalization, it was interesting to me. Oh, okay. I mean, not everyone fits all the characteristics that are listed in each horoscope. So even when I was checking out Taurus, there are a number of things that I would check out and I'll be like, I'm not that. I definitely am not that. And definitely don't aspire to be that. And then there were some traits that I have that I would see in other star signs, which again would be kind of trippy. For the longest time, I used to say, hey, maybe because I'm the last day of Taurus, my birthday is literally the last day of the Taurus star sign. I was like, okay, maybe I have. I don't know. What's the next one?
Sign.
I was like, yeah, it's now something of that sort. Whether or not I believe in it, I don't. I actually do not believe in star signs. I don't believe in a lot of things, but but I appreciate it. Like, I don't want to say I don't believe something and then dismiss it and say it's fake, it doesn't work, or whatever. I always want to see it in a way where, what works. Like, why would someone invest a whole web page, a whole book, a whole DSTV channel to this
And this
thing,
stuff.
and
I mean,
that
it's in the
is
Bible as well. Like that's way, way back. That's way, way
yeah,
back. Like,
it dates so far back. So all those little bits just pique my interest as a person who's just curious about stuff. I don't quite believe in it, but it's some really interesting stuff, especially when you just play a game and you say, okay, let me check how many boxes I can tick for this person on this star sign. You're like, wow, wow, okay, how did they know? Like, people are different, how did they know? So that part for me is just the exciting bit. It's that's how it is with me in star signs. I like the idea. I don't commit to it being what I live by. It's just
yeah, yeah.
cool for me as an observer.
So I think the vibe I'm getting from Shami, Ed, and myself, I think Valentine is on the other side, and correct me if I'm wrong, is everyone has at least checked this out in terms of just curiosity and trying to understand the self better. Because I think that's what draws people to that stuff is people really want to understand themselves better, and they want to understand why they are the way they are. And that seems like, I might be able to get answers here. And then you check it out and you're like, no answers for me, or woo, answers for me, or like Ed said, I'm on the edge. I'll take what I can and leave what I can. That's at least the vibe I get. Like, people are really like trying to understand themselves better and turn to that, and not necessarily like believe in it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
with anything, go Shami.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I guess that's really what it is with just about anything that you're doing. Like, you check it out to see if it's for you or if it makes sense to you, and then you conclude from there. I think the worst thing you can do is be I don't want to say ignorant of things, but also, like, you can't really defend something or argue against something that you know nothing about. So it would be a bit hypocritical or just not sensible to be like, oh, well, this is complete nonsense, but you have never actually studied or researched something. Like, for me, I've concluded that it's rubbish, right? But at least I have some knowledge behind it, so that when someone else comes and says, well, this for me makes sense, I'm not just like attacking something that someone else believes in from an ignorant point of view without having looked into why I think it's nonsense. So now when I say, oh, it's nonsense because of this, this, and this, at least I'm bringing a point across that's more researched and factual rather than just an emotional aspect of it. And at least, you've looked into it and you can be like, yeah, this is not for me.
And I agree with that because again, I think it's how we argue or how
Yeah.
we have these conversations is like, I like to preface something by saying, listen, this is just purely my opinion of this. If there's a reference to say I can reference this source or that source, fair enough, we can go have that. But usually, there's this culture on the internet that, you're not allowed to talk about something unless you learn it about it. Okay, fair enough, cool. But then again, allow people to express their opinion as far as they know it. Like, just say, yo, bruh, this is what I know. This is how far I know it, or
And this is
the
how I
encounters
feel
I've had
about
with it. This is how I feel about it. I don't have to be, academic about it, but for a conversation to happen, we just need to, cater to one another's, opinions. And if someone's attacking a belief that you believe in, again, it's not really attacking; it's just picking apart the argument, and then you present your argument in the way you want to do it. So with astrology, like I said before, it's one of those things that I get why people would want that. Like what Fry was saying, that a sense of self is so important to know who you can build your personality around, especially as you get older when you're trying to build an identity. I'm cool with that. Like, we are all looking for meaning, so I'm good with that. But if it
You
comes
might
to a
as well.
conversation, yeah, you might. But if it comes to a conversation of me and you having a conversation about it, don't expect me to cater to the fact that I'm worrying about your sense of self. Like, you have to be. I'm not going to say solidified in your thinking, but you can't expect me to be courteous enough all the time when I have strong opinions about something. So it's a difficult balancing act.
Cool. My mind is at rest.
Great.
And today is like crazy. And today is crazy philosophical. Eh? That's what happens when people get philosophical. Time goes by quick.
You like last week you were worried about your 10-minute threshold, and this week you've killed it. I'm proud of you, man. Well done. So Aish, it's obvious who's going next.
Go next. You have to go next. You were lost the last time, so the group demands it.
So what's on my mind is silly though.
And running away from it this time.
I ain't no point running away from it. So what's on my mind is silly. Like it's really silly, and I hope you guys see how silly it is and give me serious answers since we're going philosophical and all day. It's more about music, and particularly like music you either walk to or drive to, because I've got a playlist that I put on when I get into the car or I'm taking a walk or something. And the purpose it serves for me basically is it's easier to put me in a mood. Like if you're in a bad mood, we're having a bad day or something like that, and then you listen to this place and I'm going somewhere, it changes the perception of the day for me. And then even, a slight boost in confidence, just, blocking out the haters. We all see you out there, haters. So it just blocks, all of them out. And then, you can just get about your business and kind of shut things out. And it's the what got me thinking was the type of music. Because traditionally it'd be hip hop. I'll pick an artist, probably it was Kendrick last time. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. But now it's house, like especially Amapiano, which is weird because I like it, but not to the point where it's a dedicated driving playlist. I'm like, but what's going on? And the problem is I heard it at a party. And when you're there but not there, and you hear a song, you're like, that sounds nice. And then you hear it the next morning, you expect that effect to have gone away. But it didn't.
And we're also noting the fact that you're partying during a pandemic, you see.
Okay. Let me explain that. The party was.
This is literally now strike 2.
See, you said it last week as well, man. It's like he's literally trying to snitch on himself. I do not understand this man.
I'm an honest man. I'll tell you the truth. So it wasn't a party. It was a polite gathering. That's how I'm gonna put it. We drank tea and talked about our lives. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I hope the police accept polite gathering.
Well, I think there's a limit, like 50 now.
We'll see.
Oh, at my court hearing, that's when we'll see.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the effect that music has. That's my whole point to all this. Is like it's a lot more powerful than I thought it was. And it's not just about chasing, because I used to do that a while back, like just chasing albums. I used to like new releases, chasing stuff, but now it's now more about music that actually means something, not just, I'll listen to this new album, or this new album's got a good review, let's pick it apart and that kind of stuff. That's fun, but then it doesn't mean anything. So after you listen to it 2 or 3 times, you just forget it and it just sits in the archive somewhere. But now it's like music that actually means something. So it's a communication. Like when you listen to a song the first time, like 2 years ago, and you listen to it again, you're hearing a whole different message. That's kind of what's going on. I don't know if you guys have had that same experience.
So I can speak more to car playlists. What I would say is, and I know music is subjective, but I will objectively say that the best artist to listen to whilst you're driving is Travis Scott. No debate. It doesn't matter your age, your disposition, your ethnicity, your gender. Travis Scott is the best artist to rock to whilst you're driving. Travis Scott.
Who's that?
Thank you,
my word. So
Thank
sorry
you,
for you. I feel sorry for you.
But I can agree with you for
But
a fact.
only if you drive. Do you have a license? If you don't have a license, you have to listen to him in the car.
No, I know
different
Travis Scott. So
experience.
he makes rowdy music, isn't it?
What does rowdy
Wow.
mean? You have to define that.
You know what rowdy music is? Rowdy, loud music.
Yeah, it's kind of loud. It's kind of loud, psychedelic. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, man. It's trap, but it's really not really trap. It's a hard genre to describe. But that is unequivocally the best music to drive to.
Yeah, I can agree with Astroworld, like the title track. That was good.
Especially Astroworld.
Yeah,
Especially Astroworld.
yeah. I'm still remembering when the track dropped, and that's the one with Drake on it, right? And then we didn't hear Drake. It wasn't titled that it was
So
featuring Drake.
Astroworld is the album, and then there's just a bunch of. I think the track you might be referring to is Astro Thunder, or the one with Drake. I've forgotten the name.
Right. Because I still remember DJ Academics going crazy when he heard Drake's voice because it wasn't listed, and I was just like, yeah, that's because it got progressively better though as I listened to it more and more. And you're right, in the car, it as they say in America, it bumps in the whip. So yes, definitely, you can agree to that.
Guys,
Thank
I
you.
haven't heard the album. I haven't heard what you guys are talking about. Now there's FOMO. Like what?
Look
When
for a
is it
car. Look for a
from?
car. I'll send the album. Look for a car.
For a?
Look for a car, and then I'll send the album.
There's a car right outside. So
Okay,
hook
so
up the
I'll send
album.
the album after the podcast. Well, we might as well
No,
start with
let,
this
let,
right
let
now.
me not play myself. Let me correct myself. There's 2 cars right outside.
Hey, big pimpin'.
Ooh, flex. The flex.
That means probably like 8 speakers to bump Travis Scott to. I envy that. I do envy that.
All I got is my
Yeah.
headphone.
Well, in headphones are kind of better than car stereos, so we'll give you that.
True.
Nah. Car stereos, on a drive on a Sunday, it's therapeutic. Loud music, the Lord wish it, so He make it so. Every man, woman, child deserves, well, not child, you can't drive, but should at least have a day where they roll around with loud music because your cares just go away. You start the next week refreshed.
I think the thing though is it's therapeutic, but it can't be that way in Zim because you dodge too much potholes when you drive. Like it's too much concentration involved, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, you gotta pick
And
your
you
roads
just
though. Like,
You can't let the music like enter you like that because you might die. You literally might die if you don't focus on where you're going.
true.
Yeah.
You or the car. One person, one thing is going down.
That's
oh
true.
man, you make Zimbabwe sound so dramatic.
This is dramatic, man. People listening outside of Zimbabwe, do not listen to it. This place is crazy.
But like, yeah, personally, I have 14 playlists in my phone, and it's how I feel at that particular moment in time that dictates which playlist I'm going to play. So yeah, like I think Fato was saying it. It depends with the mood at that particular moment, because my taste is what I would call far and wide. I don't know if that's even a thing, but I've got classic tracks from like the 70s, the 60s. I've got house, I've got hip hop, and I don't have a specific genre that I stick to. I'm more of a guy that, because I used to do music when I was back in the day when my voice was still okay, and
Is this before puberty?
yeah, it was before. I wish it would have kicked in a bit later, but yeah, it ruined me. It ruined my opportunities. But anyways, I won't cry too much. I review tech now, so that's not too bad. but yeah, like for me, it has to be something that it has to be a track that summons a certain emotion out of me for it to be in any of my playlists. And that's my music selection process. So it doesn't even matter if it's Zim dancehall, or if it's gospel, or if it's hip hop, or if it's trap, or if it's literal movie soundtracks, because I have literal soundtracks for my creativity, and it's stuff that helps me concentrate. So the mood, the scenario. Driving is obviously going to be something loud most of the time, or something banging but chilled. So Valentine's Amapiano will go into there, but I don't listen to Amapiano only. So I have a specific playlist called Pranga. I don't know, in English it's plank.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that playlist literally just has some banging, bass heavy house type tracks. So yeah, that's the car playlist right there. Yeah, some trap can get into that. Travis Scott is dope. I would say Highest in the Room did it for me. And which was the other one? There was a fancy one. Oh man, I'm forgetting it. Long Live ASAP, I think.
Oh, that's
That's A$AP Rocky.
That's
now.
A$AP Rocky. That's A$AP
Yeah.
Rocky. I confused the two. My bad. But
A lot
yeah.
of people confuse them.
They sound so similar. But like
Yeah.
Highest in the Room. Yeah, I mean that one. City driving on a Sunday, like early in the morning with no track. That's the track. Like, yeah, you start off your week relaxed. I would say that's
So you
that's
see,
the
we have
play.
like 75% of the podcast has kind of endorsed Travis Scott in one way or another. I'm here for that.
except for Shami's. Shami's betray the clan.
Now
So
she
everyone's like,
needs to
who
be
is that?
initiated.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey man, I think it's just the age gap. You know what I mean? I'll take your guys' word for it. I don't know. See, the thing is, for me, here's the thing, right? I don't
Yeah.
really listen to music. I picture music. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't. So
Not
now if
really.
the
I would like an explanation.
okay, so you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but so I have a nephew, right? And he's essentially, so obviously the younger generation. Literally, I can't describe what the music is that I hear playing sometimes. All of it literally just sounds like I don't know what that means, but I'll be like, who's that? Then he'll tell me the artist name. And then like another song will play. And I'll be like, oh, so that's that guy. And he's like, no, this is so and so. And I'm like, okay, so why
They all
have
sound the same.
5 different artists? Yeah, like literally 5 different artists who sound exactly
That sounds
the
like
same.
trap.
Yeah, it
Yep.
Yeah, but
sounds like
isn't that
trap.
what people love these days?
Yeah, it's kind of hard right now. It's kind of hard right now.
Yeah, see, so I struggle. And I do listen to, like, don't get me wrong, there are some songs where I'm like, yeah, this is probably what's in right now. But most of the time, like if we're talking about driving is you have to have something with bass. That's just what it is when you're driving. Depending on what you're doing though, like for me, long distance, it's usually really chilled music, like really, really chill. But if it's like around town, it's like, yeah, noise, you know? And then, but most of the
Stay
time,
awake.
when it's like at home or whatever, like literally, and I'm not even joking, I really, really like Frank Sinatra. Yes, I listen to Frank Sinatra at home.
No judgment.
I know the name. I've never heard a Frank Sinatra song in my entire life, or at least not one that I
Disrespectful,
remember.
sorry. Literally
one.
disrespectful.
I don't listen to classic music. I don't listen to classic music. I listen to the stuff you were complaining about.
I actually want to look for those guys because, like, yeah, they should be part of my classical playlist. They
Mhm.
should.
Shami
only
is
like
Frank Sinatra Is Frank Sinatra My Way? Did he sing My Way?
Yes, he did.
Ah, okay,
Oh,
so I've
I
listened
know
to it.
that one. I know that
Okay, so we
one.
good.
And New York.
But I don't know that
Wait,
one.
which one?
You
Is it
don't know
the
New
one?
York?
Wait.
You
Is it
do
the one
know
that
New York.
was? Is it the one that Jay-Z and Alicia Keys sampled?
No, well,
No,
I
that
don't. No.
that was Empire
Well,
State something.
Empire State, right?
did you guys watch Madagascar, the cartoon, the animation? It's not a cartoon, Rufaro, correct? Animation, not cartoon, with the with the
The
animals, the zoo
cartoon. I
animals.
watched the cartoon.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
You know when the zebra is singing the song, like if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. You know
Okay,
it.
I've heard that one. Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember
that's
it.
Frank Sinatra.
I don't remember that one.
Listen, we're listening to Frank's. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. You guys are gonna hook me up with some Travis Scott stuff, and I'm gonna hook you guys up with some Frank Sinatra stuff.
But what if I want y'all to hook y'all up with
Okay.
soundtracks?
Okay, bring the soundtracks.
Oh yes, I think I'll bring
It's
binary.
gonna be like
Binary.
16 gig because his audio is in some crazy quality. Wait and see.
Are they all
Hey,
Not to
man.
speak of the fact that you guys are planning to pirate and making it very public on a public podcast. Guys, I'm not a
No,
part
no
of this.
one
I'm not
said that.
sharing
No one
anything with
said
anyone.
that.
I'm not sharing any music unlawfully with any of these guys.
I'm gonna be sharing music. I'm just gonna give you my Spotify playlist, and you're gonna.
It just kind of disappeared. So that's a cue. That's a sign that this is a wrap. Unless anyone has anything else. Has everyone shared what's on their mind this week?
No,
I have
Chami
one.
hasn't yet.
Oh, Valentine has.
Oh my goodness.
Valentine. Yeah.
I'm used to him
Let's
being
hear
last.
from Shami.
Okay. So what I was thinking about basically is the Zimbabwean YouTube community, or the YouTube creator community, content creator community in Zim. Is it booming? Is it not booming? Why is it not as booming as other countries? Oh, and is there anyone you guys watch?
Okay, so at least you put the last question in there because the other ones would need a bit of preparation. But I'm gonna try my best to to answer. So in terms of people I watch a couple actually. There's comic pasta. There's slick pasta. Okay, so maybe a lot was the stretch, but I'm kind of forgetting that. Oh, like a lot of musicians, a lot of Zim dancehall, a lot of Zim dancehall artists. Nash TV, Colors. Is it called Colors? What else? Yeah, man, a bunch of content creators, Zim content creators. I do watch, so I don't know. Maybe you guys can share the ones you're watching as well.
I think my list will be the same as yours. So I don't have specific content creators in the sense of the content creation aspect. I don't know. Creating music is content creation, but most of the guys I listen to are the music guys. So been listening to a lot of Takura because like he released a new album. I think I would assume it's a new album. So I've just been going through his tracks like in the past week or so. And then it's sad that this guy is American, but he's covering a lot of Zim music in terms of his reaction videos. I think it's the Fire LA something. So I like how.
Yeah, that Fire LA. He's that guy.
Yeah, that Fire LA. Yeah, that guy. So I just like him because he just covers. He's covered a lot of Zim tracks, and his reactions are they just feel so genuine, so natural. Like, yeah, he's experiencing the tracks, but unfortunately, he's American. He's not Zimbo. But mostly Nash TV as well is one that I check out here and there, and then some music producer. Yeah, mostly the music guys. Ja Praiser's channel, that's also cool. Tammy Moyo's channel is also cool, even though she releases like a song a year, which is crazy. I would say for now those are the guys that I check out religiously. Other channels I just bump into them because they made one interesting piece of content. Uh, like there's a channel that does it's sort of like a channel that just oh man, they showcase how much wealth Zimbos have. So just the top 10 cars that Jinimbi owns, for example. I think it's a Zim channel. I don't know for sure, but the guy has a Zimbo accent. So I'm gonna say it's a Zim channel. So those are the local channels that I pretty much check out.
Yeah, I'm gonna embarrass all of you because I've just recently got into Zim YouTube. Um, yeah, so this is gonna be embarrassing. Nash TV checked it out once. I think it was once. Um, yeah, music videos, of course, when you come across them, but I never really knew. I don't know what it is, but I never really found a reason to go to Zim YouTube. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know. Maybe I just built, a track of things that I was following, and I was just pretty much like, yeah, I don't need any of this. But being back, it's cool because like there's a lot of creative people on there. I checked out a couple of the Bus Stop TV coming past video here and there. Wouldn't say I follow them religiously. I'd want to like, yeah, I want to increase the repertoire to see what creators in Zim are doing. But at the moment, there's really not much that I can say on that point that I about whether Zim YouTube is popping or not.
Okay, so I'm back now. My internet had literally just dropped. Sorry, guys. So,
So did you hear any of what we said?
I have no idea what you guys discussed. So I'm hoping I'm not gonna repeat it. So what I was gonna ask as well is, do you think that Zimbabweans are supportive like of YouTubers? So what I've noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this as well, is that some of these YouTubers actually become celebrities to a certain extent to some people, which is why they call themselves influencers. I hate that word. Like when someone goes, I'm a social media influencer, and I'm like, that's like literally
those are very powerful people. Don't mess with them.
Yeah, it's true. But it's kind of that thing where it's like vanity is it's huge. It's a huge business. But anyway, yeah. So do you think that our like the Zimbabwean YouTube community can reach that those heights essentially where we have celebrities that are essentially content creators, like YouTubers specific and not musicians, because obviously musicians are kind of their craft is music first and foremost, and then they can have a YouTube channel.
It's just a distribution channel.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a distribution channel. But essentially, I mean, like people like lifestyle vloggers and beauty gurus, as they call themselves, or those types of content creators. Do you think we can have that type of thing?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I think so. But the asterisk being, they will be famous, right? So we have a number of personalities that are quite famous. I think what's her name? Madam Boss is one of those. She's a comedian and she's doing her thing
Yeah.
exclusively through YouTube. Or maybe exclusively is the wrong thing. It's the wrong word, but she really came up on YouTube and I think Facebook. But anyway, bigger point being she's now like a brand ambassador, or at least she's had a number of brand ambassador gigs for companies. So yeah, I do think those people will become influencers, for lack of a better term. But in terms of maybe making like revenue. Revenue is the difficult thing to figure out when it comes to Zim YouTube, because there are not many local advertisers on the platform itself. And then advertisers off the platform, I don't think they necessarily understand the value of these creators. So maybe my concern is in the short term, there's going to be a lot of low bowling. Like the value of these content creators won't be as high as in other markets, but I think it also makes sense because our internet penetrations are not as high, and so maybe their
Okay.
reach is also limited by that. I think that's what I would have to say about that.
Yeah, I think I also I agree a lot with what Fato said on them being celebrities. It could work because I saw a bit of a shift, I guess, or when Wadio Pamoyo was like hot in the streets, the cast just became popular, you know. I mean, I always say the measure of your level of celebrityness is judged by whether you turn into a meme or not. And yeah, a bunch of the guys, they actually turned into memes. And I don't know, like that recognizability of, you know what, I'm gonna throw, because like a meme is like, it's like an intellectual level of communication. I post something with just a specific caption, a specific face, and the person who sees this automatically understands the full story, you know, like literally the full story. So whoever it is, that's like the character within that meme automatically for me is has achieved celebrity status. And I think it can get to that point, and there are a bunch of Zimbo YouTube content creators that have gotten the Madam Boss, the Comic Pastors, even the guys from Wadiwe Pamoyo, and you know some music guys like Ja Master, because he just does crazy stuff in his videos, and other guys that just do crazy stuff in their videos. You know, some become a statement like Fadzam Tengi, you know. Yeah, make the buyer happy. So, you know, if you say that phrase, the art of that track automatically pops up. Yeah, his music is like that person's bread and butter, and whatever it is that comes out of that is pretty much from their music side of things and not their YouTube side of things. But because of that visual representation, saying that means more than if maybe that track never had a video that was on YouTube. So
Mm-hmm.
on the fame side, in terms of the crowd knowing you, I think that's very much possible, and there are a bunch of examples of people that have done that. But again, like Fatso said, the conversion of that into the paycheck now becomes a bit tricky, because even the way that YouTube works, it doesn't really favor content creators. I mean, I am a content creator as well, but under Techzim. And you know, you check out the content that you push out and the views that you get, and you try to convert that to the monies. It's not really something that pays off well. For some, it does actually pay really well if the content is what I would say YouTube likes. Even if you're in Zim, regardless of advertising, you won't get as much as someone doing a similar thing in a well-off country, but you will get enough to live by. But for a lot of people who are just making generic content that YouTube might not really say, I like this. Yeah, the money side will be tight. That's why probably a lot of content creators then move over to sponsored stuff. So they'll have a sponsored episode of whatever show they have, or some sponsored segments in whatever stuff they create. And probably that's what they do to pay the bills, keep the lights on. But YouTube all on its own on the revenue end, in Zim, it's tight. It's tight.
Yeah. No, okay. So first of all, please can we get the word recognizability on the t-shirt? Because that's new. Sounds like a new hashtag. I don't know. But yeah, no, I do get what you guys are saying. Definitely. That makes sense. Yeah. When you put it that way.
But are the conditions like in Zim conducive enough for YouTube, or you being a YouTuber being, regarded as an industry? because like I said, I'm speaking purely as from an outsider's point of view, but like looking at how things have gone elsewhere, like there were a number of steps before people began to take YouTube seriously, and one of them I think Farai mentioned was the availability of internet itself. The more people have access to something, the likelihood, even with YouTube's algorithm doing this and that, you have a better chance of seeing some of these things. But in Zim doesn't seem to be the case. I haven't been tracking the views or anything. This is just my own opinion. But I think we will get to a point where it's regarded as an industry where it's celebrity status plus the money. But personally, from the little I've seen, and I'm prefacing all of this by saying from the little I've seen, I think there's a long way to go before we get to that point where it can be regarded as a fully fledged industry, in the same way that it has in other countries, America to be specific, even England, all those other places. You got to kind of fill a need, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think they actually treat it as something like a marketing tool for their main gig. So like YouTube is a side gig just to promote these people for whatever main gig they have. I guess an example would be like comic pastor will market his jokes and satire on YouTube. And when he decides to be an MC for an event, people who are into his jokes and satire will happily go and hire him. So probably his MC gig is the main gig, and then YouTube is just a platform to promote his talents for when he needs to jump into his main gig.
Doesn't that take value away?
But also, a lot of content creators are actually doing skits that are like sponsored as well. So I think there's a lot of value they're extracting from there. I don't know the specific numbers, but a lot of the comedians are doing skits that are sponsored.
Ray Vines, he's been a bit too quiet as of late, though. I haven't seen a bunch of his stuff.
He's charging up the creative juices. Let him be. Give him some time.
Yeah. They're controlling their supply and demand.
So, Shami, who's gone quiet all of a sudden, are your questions over? Is your thought over? Are you going to add on to it?
No, I'm quite happy with that.
All right. Well,
Nothing
today
to add, nothing to take away.
So next time we're starting with you, since you went last.
Really though? No,
Yes.
I'll go second for Fari's sake.
And then therefore I will start.
Cool, fine by me.
All right. So thank you guys for joining us for this. I don't know what to call it yet. I was about to say round table, but that sounds a little overused. Thank you for joining us for this conversation we're having from everyone, Shami, Farai, and Edwin. We'll see you again next week if we're not cancelled.
We won't be.
Are you sure about that?
That's all. Make sure of that.
Okay.
I'll work the magic.